I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Greetings. Happy Thursday to you all. Hope you're all having a nice day. Hope you all had a nice Wednesday night. I won a few dollars last night, not a monster night or anything. Yankees really cost me. Yankees kept me from having a great night. That was my biggest MLB bet, and it lost. But I did win my other two MLB bets, and then I pushed on the Mavs -2. Ski, I've been grabbing these lines that open. Mavs -2. Snipe that.
Nice work.
Did you watch the Dallas game last night?
I saw bits and pieces. I didn't see the whole thing throughout.
Oh man,
I did see the end.
It's such a difference when Anthony Davis is on the floor. Like it's like a completely different basketball team. Truly,
I had the money line.
For Dallas.
Yeah.
You got it. I had the -2, so I pushed. But obviously, this is going to be a short one. It's just NBA, and it's only 6 games. But real quick, this episode's brought to you by Props.Cash. Today's episode is brought to you by Props.Cash. Stop guessing and start using data behind your bets. Props.Cash provides you with the insights that expert bettors rely on. Data, not intuition. Imagine knowing that Rudy Gobert has stayed under his rebound total of 11.5, 83% of his road games this year versus 44% of his home games. Rudy Gobert can't rebound on the road, apparently. Props.Cash allows you access to that kind of detailed historical performance data in seconds to help you make smarter bets. Use Props.Cash to identify outliers in player stats that stand out and can provide valuable betting opportunities. With Props.Cash, you can filter through games, players, and leagues to easily spot the highest hit rates. No more wasting time on irrelevant bets. Props.Cash provides you with daily results of how the previous trends performed. This isn't about celebrating wins or apologizing for losses. It's about giving you the data to make informed decisions without the hype. Sign up using the link in the description of this video and start using Props.Cash today. Promo code Kyle Kirms. All right, so let's get into it. 6 games. First one up, I still feel like this number's too big. I don't have the balls to actually bet the Wizards, but I think if you put a gun to my head and force me to place a bet, it would be Wizards plus the big number. I'm going to put it up. Again, I just want to reiterate, not betting this, have no interest in betting. Someone flipped out yesterday about the Kings -13 pick. And yes, I straight up said 10 times, I'm not betting this. I don't like this game. So for those of you that are fast forwarding and just looking at the graphics and not listening, I'm not not betting this. The Magic have been good against bad teams, so if you bet Orlando against bad teams, you're doing pretty well this year. The Wizards have been bad against good defenses. Orlando it obviously is a good defense. I think they're a top 5 defense in the last 10 games. What pushes me over towards the Washington side is the pace. Orlando struggled against fast-paced teams, and the Wizards have struggled against – the Wizards have been good against slow-paced teams. So the pace favors Washington. Again, not betting it. I'm actually I've already wasted too much time talking about it. Ski, do you have any interest in this one?
15.5 is a little too rich for me, but the total, I did see the open 216. I remember seeing it at 217. Now seeing it as low as 212.5. I think I agree with that move down. You kind of mentioned Washington will be okay playing at the Magic's pace, and the Magic definitely want to slow it down.
Yep.
Last 5 games, they're the 3rd slowest pace and 4th best defensive rated team. So I'm just looking at that. Neither offense is great, especially all these question marks for the Wizards. I think the under is the play you should make in this game.
Yeah, I had this one when I was looking last night. It was 216.5, and I was leaning under. I wouldn't bet it now, but I would agree that I would probably lean towards the under. Vino, any leans in this one?
Yeah, I don't think so, Kyle. I mean, if you just individualize it, you could sit there and try to make the case for an Orlando team total over, except that since the numbers come down, like you guys mentioned, from 217 to 212, up has gone their team total. So asking them to get over 113.5, 114 is tough. Washington's allowed 114 plus in 12 of the last 15. They stink defensively, but Orlando just, you got to absolutely pull teeth to get them to that price tag. And then the other side of that is bet Washington under, but that under is like 98.5 right now. So who wants to bet under 98.5, even if you don't have Jordan Poole? Just a difficult game. Magic should win simply because they're trying to hang on to that home advantage in the play-in spot. Wins are huge for them at this point in time, but asking them to win by 15.5, it's a lot to ask.
I put Orlando money line at minus 1,500 up for Vino. Play that minus 1,500 money line.
There you go.
All right, so
I'll borrow Ski's money.
Serious juice on that one. I do have a couple games I bet in this one. They're towards the end of the slate, though, so the first few are going to be a little rough, including this one. I think we're at the point in the season, and I'm sure both these guys will agree. There's a few teams that you just put on the can't bet this team's games list, and Philadelphia's been on that list for about 2 months now. Never know what you're going to get on a night-to-night. It's not so much that they're quote-unquote tanking, and some guys, they're not going to fight to get them back on the floor for the regular season. It's not so much that. It's more we don't know who's going to play night in and night out. It was about 2 weeks ago where I said I'm not even wasting any more time looking at Philadelphia's games, because you look and it's just a bunch of question marks. Now, as I'm looking, it looks like we do know who's going to be on the floor tonight for Philadelphia, but I was explaining why I personally haven't been looking at Sixers games the last couple weeks. We got baseball starting up, and I'm not going to waste time trying to figure out who's going to be on the floor for Philly. So I didn't even look at this one, if I'm being honest. Either you guys have anything?
Absolutely not laying with the Bucks. Not playing any defense. Expected to win by 13 or 12. No. So if you can't lay with the Bucks, you can't back the Sixers. The only thing that bothers me is the pace, but both defenses just untrustworthy. I would be betting over or nothing.
Yeah, I'm not mad at an over. Vino?
All right, I'll be the guy that says that he did bet this game, but I'm strictly on this fade Philadelphia. And it's in the compartment of bet against their defense. And the fact that they only allowed 105 to the Knicks the other night is kind of an outlier. The Knicks didn't have what Milwaukee brings to the table. This is interesting because I had the Milwaukee team total over against Phoenix the other night, and you do it and you cross your fingers with Milwaukee, right? Because you never know what team Glenn is going to bring to the floor. But Phoenix had no rim protection whatsoever. I'm just thinking in my head, how do Lopez and Giannis not go crazy in this game? They had lost 2 games already in that homestand. It was the final of the third of the homestand, and they did. They went crazy. They shot 22 of 24, guys, from 2-point range in that game because nobody could stop them at the rim. So when I see Yabusele's not going to play tonight, or chances are he's not going to play again tonight, and Adam Bona is your only, and I mean only, in the top 9 of the Philadelphia rotation rim protection, and then Giannis says, yeah, I'm in on this game, so I'm just looking for 37 out of him again. Their team total is 119.5. Philly has given up 118 plus in like 18 of their last 21. They're just horrible defensively. They just don't have the guys. It's basically a G League team. We all know that. So I bet it over, guys. I bet Milwaukee's team total over 119.5, looking for 120.
119.5. All right. Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia can't make stops, and Adam Bona protecting the rim is terrifying. Giannis over 25.5 free throw attempts. Next up. Portland, Toronto. This matchup wouldn't be that bad if we didn't have those 2 major injury question marks that make this one. I'd probably be down to take a good look at this game if I knew who was playing, but I don't really care too much about Scoot Henderson being out. It's Simons being questionable for Portland. And on the Toronto side, you got Scotty Barnes. You could make an argument that those are the two most important pieces on each team. Maybe Advia, but still, those 2 question marks make this one impossible. I skipped it last night, and I don't have anything to say about it. I bet the next one, though. Ski, anything?
Yeah, I have a slight lean to the over just because the Raptors been playing fast. I feel like they've been sharing the ball well. So just a combination of those things. But I don't like you said, Simons and Barnes on the injury report, but just a lean to the over.
Vino, anything?
I totally agree with that. That was my first look, just because it looks like Toronto's increased pace over the last few games. Even without Emmanuel quickly, they've been going fast. But when you don't have Simons, it's tough. I know Avdia got, what do you have, like 30-something the other night, and Portland's got other scorers. But, when I took a second look at the Toronto schedule and results, playing Chicago, you're supposed to go over the total. So we'll see here. I let it go. My first inclination was to play over, but as both you guys have already mentioned with the injury report, I just couldn't get there.
I'll put over up for me too, but I didn't bet this one. I bet 2 games, and we're about to talk about one of them right now. And poll and move on to the next one, to what I think is my favorite bet of the day. Now, I did get a much better number. I'm in on Memphis at 3.5. I still would bet it at 5.5 if I'm being honest. I had it at 7, so I still think there's a little bit of meat left on the bone here at the 5.5. 1 second, let me get the poll up. Prop Beaver's car went down today, so he was going to Uber in, and I was like, dude, there's 6 games. Don't Uber here to produce a 6. I got it. So I'm on my own today. We got Grizzlies on the road in Miami. Now, let me start by saying I understand we're talking about the Grizzlies against good defense, which has been a nightmare. Their numbers against, the Heat have been playing some solid defense, and the Grizzlies are 7-15-1 against the spread against top 10 defenses. So I understand that we're talking about the Grizzlies against a good defense. But after that, everything just points towards Memphis here. First of all, the recent Miami defensive numbers might be a little bit inflated based on the fact they've played a relatively easy schedule. Keep in mind, Boston didn't have their guys in there last night. And in the last 10 games before that, before the Celtics game, I believe they were 26th in strength of schedule, something to that effect. So Miami's played a relatively easy schedule. So when we're looking at, 6th in defensive efficiency in the last 10 games, we need to consider they've played an easier schedule. So number one, I think the Heat defensive numbers might be a little bit inflated. But number two, Miami just played a game in Boston, a much more important game. Did they ended up winning? They were up like 10. I didn't bet the game, so I turned it off for a baseball game last night. Did they end up winning? Yeah, they went to 124-103. They just played a more important game in Boston, got the win, immediately fly down to Miami, no days off. They haven't been good on back-to-backs this year. And we're talking about Miami against the way the Memphis Grizzlies play basketball. It's a terrible matchup for Miami. A fast-paced team that could score, that is not Miami's forte on the season. 9-14 against the spread against top 10 offenses, 11-15 against the spread against top 10 in pace. They're much better against bad offenses and slow-paced teams. So on top of the fact that you got Miami flying back down from Boston, they're playing a team that the type teams that fit this description they've struggled with this year. Yeah, I'm on Memphis. Like I said, obviously I like my 3.5 a lot better, but I have it at 7, so I would still play this 5.5.
First off, what guys for Boston didn't play yesterday? They missed a couple guys, but are we going to say Miami didn't play defense? They still had Tatum out there, Jaylen Brown out there. It's not like
it was no Porzingis, no Drew Holiday.
They still did their job.
Those are important pieces. Those are like 2 All-Stars.
Every piece is important, but I'm saying
you're about to take the heat on this show. No, you're not.
What I'm saying is, it's an advantageous spot for the Grizzlies, but you can't trust them. They've been playing terrible. They've lost 7 of their last 8 games. They've had guys fighting with each other on the sideline. They fired the coach. Josh shooting people, getting in trouble. Nothing is going right for the Grizzlies right now. Nothing is going right for the Grizzlies right now, bro. And for the Heat, yes, it's a big game versus Celtics, but every game's a big game for the Heat right now. They've been big games. That's why they've been playing hard and winning all of these games. They beat the Warriors, who've been playing some of the best basketball in the NBA. They just beat the Celtics, who are amazing.
Steph didn't play in that game. Porzingis and Holiday didn't play. My God, I'll put the belt up right now. No hesitation.
I think getting 5.5 is too much.
Why don't we compromise and do 4.5? Why don't we do 4.5 to compromise? Because I got 3.5.
All right.
Put the belt up at 4.5. You can obviously bet it at 5.5, but the belt is up at 4.5. Vino's going to break the tie for us.
Well, maybe halfway, guys, because I'm not going to get involved in the side here. But I'll tell you this. I mean, and I made money again last night. It's amazing the turnaround Miami has made. They were pathetic. About 2.5 weeks ago, nobody wanted any part of Miami, were they? They were like 1-10 or 0-10, getting crushed every night. Eric Spoelstra comes out and says, we got 2 ways we can go, A or B. It seems like they chose A because since then they're 8-0 against the spread. But I'm way more impressed with the way they're playing offense, guys. Last night, their team total was 100.5, and they scored 124. In a situation like that, Boston was off a 6-game road trip, their first game back home with a couple guys out. They run out and score 124. I love this quote from Eric Spoelstra. I'll read it to you real quick. They asked him about this back-to-back tonight, and he said, that doesn't matter. We all have back-to-backs. We're not afraid of those. I'm going to agree with Ski to an extent where Memphis is a team that in the second half, they'll just go away. First half, if you want to bet Memphis, you bet them first half. Second half, they'll break your heart and lose a game. And they've lost their last 4 by margin against all good teams. I'm not throwing Miami into the category.
I was going to say, what are you going with that?
But I will go, I'll go this direction. Memphis, last 12 games, they've allowed 112 or more 10 times. Miami, last 6 games, they've scored 118 or more, 5 of the 6. Tonight, their team total is 110, and they're back home. It's still an East Coast time zone. It's not a big flight to go from Boston to Miami. We're still on the same time. No big deal there. And they just look really good to me offensive. They're doing a lot of this without Andrew Wiggins last 3-4 games. So game aside, I like full game total where Miami's concerned up and over 110.5. Memphis may win. I don't trust them in their, high school fake gun antics, but I do think that that Miami will score 111 tonight, guys.
He doesn't trust the antics, though.
Ski, how long have we been talking about Josh, Ski?
So hold on. Something I will say is these types of things, there's some content involved, meaning the NBA, I wouldn't put it past them to launch an investigation because it'll get them a bunch of clicks. Swear to God.
That's true.
If John Morant did this to a teammate, pointed at him, they would launch an investigation because it would get 1 billion retweets. To act like these PR departments don't do the same social media tricks that you see influencers doing, they do. So just know when you're these narratives, like the John Morant gang member persona, that's how he's branded, and dead ass serious, they know any content circling that is going to get 1 million retweets and comments. So I don't know, I'm on Ja's side of that.
Kyle, real quick, if you were Ja, would you just stop doing that? They're going to do to you as soon as you do it.
Obviously, he's a very misguided young man. I'm not gonna speak to that respect. I'm just saying it gets exactly. It's kind of like when a wide receiver in the NFL gets branded as a cancer to the locker room. You'll see stories that are like, he walked out on his teammates when really he just went to take a shower. Like when those narratives, they get clicks, so they get beaten to hell and exaggerated, and they know launch an investigation to Ja, get 1 million retweets, whether he did anything or not. I'm just saying. But I think you guys are crazy for you guys are giving the Heat way too much credit here. The Golden State one, okay. They played them without Steph. Other than that, we're going to talk about the Heat offense, Vino. They played Philadelphia, Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte. What are we doing here? What are we doing? They played Philadelphia, their last 5 games. Golden State without Steph. Then you got Philadelphia, Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte. It's like 4 of the worst defenses I've ever seen. And those are their 5 good offensive guys. Oh, my God, I'm winning this bet. I am winning this bet.
Last 5 games, they're allowing 122.6 points per game.
To Golden State, Boston, Lakers, Oklahoma City, Ski.
But you just said they're missing Steph Curry and Boston's missing all the guys. Which one is it?
Hold on. Steph played against the Memphis. Steph didn't play against Miami. So Miami's offense sucks. I don't know if you guys been hanging out with Estot. This is my favorite bet of the day here. Memphis minus 3.5 my favorite bet of the day. You guys are crazy. You're not.
We're going to shout out our good friend Ronald Kabang, because forget about the games you're talking about, Kyle. Ronald will show us that if we go back 20 games, the Grizzlies are 27th in the league in points allowed. This is not just an overnight thing against good teams where they're giving up points. 121.6 per game the last 20. They stink defensively. They don't really care.
I don't care.
Up and down.
I don't care about anything before. I don't care about any. The stretch when Jaren Jackson Jr. was out is a bunch of bullshit. Who cares? That's their best defensive piece. It's like talk about the Mavericks defense without Anthony Davis. They're a completely different defensive team with him out there. And since he's been back, they've played a brutal schedule. Brutal. But regardless of all that, the Heat suck. The Heat are trash. I was more pushing back on your point about the Heat offense rather than Memphis. I know Memphis has their shit. The Heat offense, if you look, I'm looking at the game logs here, 5 good games offensively. Before that, it was trash, and those 5 good games were against garbage. Next. Now let's go to a scorcher of a game. Minnesota on the road in Brooklyn. I'd be lying if I said I took more than 5 seconds looking at this game. I'm now in the mode where baseball's starting. I'm going to look through the slate and pick out the games I find interesting. Which probably, I'm sure if I sat there and busted out the spreadsheet, I'm sure I probably could find some kind of value in this one. It's, in my opinion, part of what makes me good at certain things is I don't want to use the word passion, but like I'm into it, right? And if I'm not into it, I feel like I can't do a good job. So like trying to force a basketball game I'm not very interested in, I feel like I won't give it a full objective look. So I'm just skipping games like this. I have a bet. I want to talk about the last one, though. Minnesota, Brooklyn, ski, anything?
Negative.
Exactly. Vino, are you with us on the pass?
I'm totally with you guys on the pass.
Yeah. Let's go to what is a very interesting game. So I placed 2 bets on this game. I bet the Lakers and I bet the over. I want to be very clear, and I said this last night. I don't necessarily think like, I have such a huge edge on this one, and I think these are great bets. Or part of this was this is going to be an awesome game. I'm going to watch the whole thing start to finish and want to have some action on it. There's some of that involved. I personally had this one at Lakers minus 2.8 and the total at 232.8. So I think sure, maybe there's a little bit of value on a small bet on the Lakers and the over. But some of it's me doing some fun gambling here. It's going to be a cool one. And there was a couple things. So obviously Golden State's going to have the rebounding battle. Golden State's been a top 10 rebounding team on both sides of the floor all year. Can't deny that. Not that the Lakers are an absolutely terrible rebounding team, but they're certainly not on that level. So Golden State's going to have the rebounding edge, but something that was weird, Golden State's actually has not been profitable against bad rebounding teams. Their record's terrible. I won't read them off. They've struggled against bad rebounding teams in terms of covering the number. What really pushed me over to the Lakers side was, Golden State out of nowhere cannot defend the three-point line. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 games here. You know what? Let me pull it up so I can give you the exact numbers. Golden State's defensive numbers against the three-point shot recently are awful. Here we go. Golden State defense. 27th in defensive efficiency against the three-point shot in the last 10 games. 24th in frequency. So they're allowing a ton of looks from outside, and they're allowing their opponents to make those shots. This is a borderline bottom 5 three-point defense in the last 10 games. And we're talking about the new-look Lakers team since the Lakers did their rebranding, the trade deadline shit. They're a three-point shooting team. So I just like that matchup a lot for the Lakers, and that's what pushes me over there. I got the Lakers, and I got the over at 230. As far as the pace, we're looking at 14th and 15th in the last 10 games, so the pace could get me on the total. I just think both teams are going to be able to score. Like I said, I'm not in love with these bets. My favorite bet is Memphis minus 3.5. That's my favorite bet, but I did place both of these. Are you guys with me?
No, I like the under 230. I think this game is just extremely important to both of these teams, and it'll be played more like a playoff game just because of the standings wise. Both, I think, 4th and 5th, like neck and neck right there with each other. So I think we'll just see high intensity, a lot of defense in this one. So under for me, and I do lean towards the Lakers though, but just forget about that Memphis pick.
Vino, where do you land on the total side on this one?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Kyle, and I'll just expand on it a little bit from a fundamental standpoint. Golden State's little on the perimeter, right? Bajinski's little. Steph Curry's little. The tallest guy in their starting lineup is Draymond. 6'6". Luka's taller than their entire starting lineup. Austin Reeves is like 6'4", 6'5". He'll shoot over these guys. So the Lakers have guys from the perimeter that should get clean looks over littler guys. That's a certainty in this game. So your point about three-point shooting and maybe Golden State having a disadvantage at that end of the floor at the perimeter, I think you're absolutely right. To Ski's point, these games sometimes do take on a playoff atmosphere. I'm too afraid to bet them that way because I see too many that still go over, whether teams need it or not. My initial thought on this game was, you know what, wake me up when it's a playoff series because I'd be more interested then than I am now. But I think if I had to bet side, I would bet Lakers here. What they've been able to do as far as rim defense is concerned, which believe me, I was on that bandwagon that said they can't stop anything at the rim, but they've done it. And they've got a lot of length with Hachimura back and Vanderbilt back and all these guys back. So I think the Lakers, I was surprised they're only 1.5. I didn't bet it, but I do think it's the right side.
Someone said Kyle put up the belt, Warriors money line. Meansky already got the belt up on the other one. There's only one belt. We can't be putting it on every
I don't got the Warriors.
No. I think someone was saying I should. Yeah. Ski said he was leading Lakers anyway.
Hell no, I don't got the Warriors.
I like that you confirmed that, Vino, because to be honest, if that's one of those where I would not suspect the Warriors to be a bad perimeter defense if the numbers didn't tell me that. So there's like Vino said, the lack of size on the perimeter, these numbers are really bad. Their numbers, not just against the three-point shot, but against the mid-range shot, too. They have terrible defensive numbers against jump shooters, and surprisingly, with a lack of size, they actually have solid numbers defensively on the interior. And if this was the old-school Lakers, I would say that's a perfect recipe because Lakers can't shoot, but this ain't the 2024 Lakers. The 2025 Lakers are a three-point shooting team, so I actually think it's perfect. I'm on the Lakers and the over here. That's it. You guys don't happen to have a bet on the NIT championship tonight, do you? I don't.
Negative.
Me neither.
I've been following Irvine. Kyle, they've done me right. I was a little too scared to lay this price tag tonight. They're not a team that generally will win by, or that you'd expect to win by big margin, although they're a little better offensively than they have been in the past. Chattanooga can get hot, and Chattanooga might be able to speed the game up a little bit. So I laid off it. I thought Irvine's team total was a little bit too high too at 74.5.
The guy that I had on last night likes Irvine. I think said -3. I'm pretty sure what he got. So the person who I would trust with that likes Irvine. I have no idea. Not an NIT guy. And so I'm going to do a community top bet, and I'm just going to do the two biggest games. Grizzlies -5.5, Heat +5.5, Warriors +1.5, Lakers -1.5. So while they're voting to see what the community's favorite bet is in the two biggest games, Ski, where can they find your stuff?
They can find me on the Houston Cougars. No, they can find me at Ski Profit. Everywhere you want to look, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. I will start to use Instagram. But anywhere you want to look, Ski Profit.
I've tried to use Instagram before. I always make it like 3 days, and I'm like, I hate this platform. I'm not an Instagram guy. To be honest, if it wasn't for this show, I wouldn't be much of a social media person in general. That's pretty much the only reason I post. So Instagram's tough for me. Vino, where can they find your stuff?
Well, we could agree on that. I mean, Instagram's tough for me too. You can find my stuff at the same place you find Skis, at wagertalk.com. If you want to find me on Twitter, at RobVinoSports. I do have an Instagram account, but I'll be honest, you won't find much there, except me looking at other people's stuff. But Twitter, you'll find me at RobVinoSports, and like I say, also at wagertalk.com. Real quick here, Kyle, I just wanted to say, as we talked about that NIT game, that number has come back to 3. It was Irvine 4.5. And a flood of Chattanooga money has happened this afternoon. So looks like it's back to where it started.
Yeah, he last night he said 3. So yeah, did a little bit of a rainbow line there. Yeah, for Instagram, it's more about like your personal, like I just was out in Vegas. I don't know. I guess that was a few months ago. Saw Ski out there. went on a 3-day trip to Vegas, didn't take a single picture. Like, just not like an Instagram person. I don't. You're supposed to use that for like, here's me at the game and shit. And I just don't take pictures of things like that. Anyway, the community top bet is, wow, it's pretty close here. I'm gonna say end poll. It's between Grizzlies and Lakers, and it's Memphis. The community liked my argument. They thought,
damn, you guys.
They know who the Sharps are. They understand. They get it.
Everybody on the Grizzlies tonight, huh?
Yeah, well, I know I am. I want the record to show, in case this is a sticky ending, I did get the 2.5. The 3.5. I want the record to show I got 3.5, just in case this lands on 5. Yeah, community top bet is Memphis minus 5.5. Everyone, be back tomorrow. Tonight we're recording a Final Four special thing in a couple hours, so we'll upload that. I'll be giving out Duke heavy. What's the line on that, Ski?
5.5.
Wow, that's steep.
Do the right thing, man.
I didn't. They're really laying 5.5. Are you kidding me?
Do the right thing.
I hate
That's
Houston,
all I'm
dude.
gonna say.
Man, Houston shouldn't even be here. That Purdue game was fucked up. All right. I was so when they didn't call that push off, I was livid that they didn't call that. All right, everyone, enjoy your Thursday night. Bet responsibly. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. See you all at midnight tonight, or we'll do a Final Four.